So you want to move your career forward as an educator. You've been a teacher in the classrooms. You've done an incredible job. You know, you have a great reputation instructionally. Your pedagogy is on point. You're a dean. You've shifted the culture of your school. You know, there's nothing happening in your school that you don't know about. And not only that, your things are so sharp. Kids walk into the building, they feel safe, and they just know when I'm here, it's going to be good. If I have a problem, it's going to be good because you've established that culture. You're an assistant principal. You've been rocking hard. You know, there's nothing in that school that you don't have your thumb on top of. You on a daily basis are on that grind of ensuring, like incredible operational processes in your school. Everything is benchmarked, goals are being hit. But now you're asking yourself, how do I get to the next level? There's an opportunity in my school. Or if there's an opportunity in my school, there's too many of us here. It's very competitive. I want to be a principal, or I want to be an assistant principal, or I want to be a dean, or I want to be a department chair. How do I set myself apart so that I'll be given those opportunities? So I want to tell you the secret to my success as an educator. So first off, if you're a teacher, you have to step up. Okay? You got to be on top of your game. Your game has to be on point with what you do in the classroom. It needs to be so sharp that you are confident that you can model what you do for anyone, and what you do in your classroom can be the standard for a school. Very, very important. You have to be able to show progress with your students. You need to be able to show that you're progress monitoring. You're looking at data all the time, and you can literally say, this kid is coming to me at this level. I am confident I can get them to this level by a certain time. I know how to get parents involved in this process. I know how to get all the resources that I need to move children forward. Okay, now if you have that, the next thing is you have to now be willing to step into the role of being a mentor or a coach for other teachers. By doing it, some of you might be like, wait a minute, that's more work. Why would I want to do that? But this is how you get seen as a leader. If you're a teacher, you're supporting other teachers to do what you're doing, and you're pushing out those skill sets to impact more children, And not only that, if you're really about this game, you step up and be a department chair. For a lot of schools, it's no competition. What's happening, no one wants to do it, but they're like, it's a lot of work. Then step into it. Because the reality is, as you move up in education, it's only more work. Yeah, you get paid more, but you're going to be doing way more work. So why not get yourself into the practice of doing more work that benefits the school and moves the school community forward? If you're a dean, okay, in most schools you only have one dean, maybe two deans, and you're looking to move up. You have your license, and you're looking to move up to maybe become an assistant principal. Then you have to be willing to juggle what you're doing as a dean with something else. When I was a dean, I remember 2 years before I became an assistant, no, 2 years before I became an assistant principal, I was the dean, I was the chair of the special education department, and I was also running the science and math departments. It was a small school, and I was doing all that, and also being a dean as well. So everything that had to do with discipline in the school and any kind of issues and parents, I dealt with. But at the same time, when it was time for those math and science meetings, I did the agendas, I was in there, and we're looking at data. I owned it. I was like, the success of this department is on my shoulders. It doesn't matter what else I'm carrying. Then I was also the special ed chair, because I was the most senior person on staff who had a special ed license, and I had been a special ed teacher. So guess what? I was doing that too. Some people might say that's ridiculous. Like why would I? That's the problem with education. They ask us to do so much. But if you have it in your mind that you want to lead, it only gets heavier. That burden gets heavier. The amount of work it's just more. You can't have what is it saying? You can't have your cake and eat it too. Is that simple? So that's what I did as a dean. I'm not saying do all like I had like 3 departments I was running plus being the dean of school. But the thing is, just pick one and do it great. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. Now you're an assistant principal. How much of what's happening in your school are you really in charge of, or are you only following the instructions and the directives of your principal? Have you gone to the principal and said, listen, I see a problem here, or I see something here that we can improve on. Can I build this out? Our attendance is talking right now. I want to take over the attendance team. I have some ideas. I've done some research, and I think if we do these things here, and I will run it, I'll monitor it, and I'm going to own it. I think we can improve our attendance. So now something like that, from the beginning all the way through to the end result, that's yours. That's something that's very, very important. Well, often what happens is assistant principals, they're living their lives based on a checklist. This is my assignments, these are my tasks, and this is what I do every single day. I get to the building in the morning, I do morning arrivals. I go to the cafeteria, I go to the hallway. Then I make sure I'm in the hallways, I'm making sure the kids are in class, and I'm doing my observations. But there's nothing in there that you're actually leading. All you're doing is you're just assisting. You're leading by proxy, really. You're just an extension of the principal's leadership. You're not actually leading yourself. Very important. Okay, now why are all these things important as a teacher, as a dean, as an assistant principal? Because if you're going out there, if there's an opportunity in front of you, I'm gonna tell you what I ask all the time when I'm interviewing, when I was interviewing within education, interviewing candidates. Tell me the one thing that you've led from the beginning to the end. How did that? What led to the inception of that thing? What was the end result you were looking for? And what were your processes through that project or that particular thing? What am I trying to hear? I want to know that you're able to lead, that you are a unique thinker, that I don't have to pour into you all the time. Because as a principal, it's hard me, having to plan everything out and then tell people how to do it as well. I want to be able to say, here are all the things that happen in the school. As a collective, we see it. We know what the mission and vision of the school is. We know what the goals are for the year. And have a leader, on my team who says, I'm gonna run special ed. We know these are deficiencies, and these are things that need to happen for us to be successful. Bam. And then I can meet with that person, weekly, and during our cabinet meetings, they can share out where our progress are. Here are our benchmarks. Are we meeting them? Are we not meeting them? And I know I'm confident this person is doing what they need to do. They're keeping me on point. Rather than me doing everything and saying, okay, now today I need you to do this. Tomorrow I need you to do this. Okay, that becomes extremely daunting. Okay, same thing with the deans. If I want to talk to a dean, so tell me, give me some numbers. What have you led? How have you shifted culture? Even if you've never been a dean before, how have you shifted culture within your classroom? How do you monitor? What does your parental contact look like? What kind of relationships have you established? What kind of programs have you done? Are you just a disciplinarian, or do you create incentives and space for kids to thrive in? Okay, all these things require thinking outside of the typical job descriptions that you have. That is how you get people's attention. That is how you become someone people are like, whoa, we need to get them on our team. We need to have this person be a leader in our school. Think about that. Are you an aspiring leader? What I mean aspiring, teacher to department head or dean to an assistant principal, AP to a principal, or even a principal to a superintendent. One more time, what have you done within your school building? What have you done within your classrooms that you have data for, that you can say, I moved the needle, I shifted culture, I can show success based on the things that I put into play for my school community. All right? So think about that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You go to my website, thesneakerprincipal.com. And you can also find me on Patreon. I am trying to build a space where I can support, I have built a space where I can support aspiring leaders and leaders who are sitting leaders right now. This work is not easy, but it's something that requires an immense amount of thinking, an immense amount of coaching and mentorship, and I would like to provide that for you. So with that being said, have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you all later, all right?